All right, no, sit still. Come on.
Hold on, I gotta
You're a
get my
radio
headphones.
professional.
I'm not I've never claimed to be a professional.
Oh, crap.
I would never
I'm
do
missing
that.
my speakers.
Oh my god, Tommy.
My little brat took my speakers. Shoot.
You want to see my my laptop, my desktop? Can't be reached. Can't even get into Google Mail because of these kids.
Wow. Well, at least you have your phone.
Say what? I'm on the phone here.
Yeah, at least you have your phone.
Yeah, it probably sounds better than actually the computer.
Oh yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good headphones. Good microphone.
Yeah, man. It's the Apple i8.
What hat are you wearing?
It's like Carhartt. You know that.
Oh, put it back on. Put it back on.
The camouflage. You love my hair.
Oh, you've got such, as the kids would say, you've got a nice flow. Flow there.
You know why I get a lot of compliments on my hair this last year. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. I'm walking through the grocery store. There's a grocery store here in upstate New York called Wegmans. I don't know.
They're
very popular. So I'm checking out. I'm in the checkout line. This young black gentleman, he's probably about 18 or whatever, goes, "Dude, you have awesome hair." And I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't really know what to say. I go,
thank you.
Thanks, I guess. I go, I appreciate it. He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I'm probably going to lose my hair, my family or whatever. But I just thought it was so weird for a black male to say, hey, dude, you got nice hair. I'm like, all right.
But that's cool that another male was okay with himself saying to another man, hey, nice hair.
And then a few months later, I'm in a bar and I'm just hanging out with some friends. And this other guy comes walking up to me and he goes, dude, you have awesome hair. And I'm like, what? I go, thanks. I just think it's, and the girls, or the group of girls that I were with, were like, because this one girl, we have like a competition between us, like who's going to get, hey, nice hair more often.
Oh, really? There's a drinking game.
Because I get it all the time. I don't know what it is, but it's so weird. So I was at a restaurant in Chicago and I'm hanging out with some guy friends drinking, and the waitress just turns to me. She's going to serve another table some drinks. She looks at me and she goes, nice hair, and just keeps walking. I go, thanks.
Wow. Hey, move your phone. I can't see it.
Oh,
there
you need to see me? I didn't know you needed to see me. I didn't think it was that good looking, but
you got a nice hair except for the hat. See, no, but look at me, because I'm not wearing a hat and I just got a haircut.
And
Friday, so
you're going bald.
I'm going bald. That's okay.
So you're okay with that?
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, I've got plenty of hats. It's okay.
You don't feel like you're losing your manhood by losing your hair?
I lost it a long time ago in the first divorce.
Do you not feel? Do you feel attractive still? Or have you never felt attractive?
No, I honestly haven't, because this is funny. This is a funny topic because I hang around guys like you, and so it's like, ugh, I'm like the I'm the ugly person among the group, because you're a health guy. You run.
Yeah.
I run to the refrigerator.
I lift weights. I go to the gym. I used to be a big runner. I'm not such a big runner anymore.
I actually lost. I lost weight this week though.
Yeah.
You know how?
You took some laxatives.
Yeah, get a colonoscopy and you lose weight.
Oh God! Oh, that's the worst. Do you have to drink that yellow stuff?
No.
Oh God!
They do it differently now. So it was. I had to drink 64 ounces of a sports drink mixed with whatever the Metamucil or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's that. It tastes terrible.
No, it tastes. All you taste is the sports drink.
Oh no, it tastes terrible.
No,
the stuff I was drinking. Yeah, is it a barium or something?
No, they don't do that anymore. I'm telling you.
No. Well, your guy does. It depends on the doctor. It's not every doctor.
This guy was cool as hell. It was pretty funny because I had to go. I had to go in and get scoped every year.
Yeah.
And I said, I haven't had that done in years. He goes, we can do both at the same time. I said, okay, cool. So
You mean so scoped? He sticks one in your throat and the other up your butt.
So the funny thing is, my mom said, well, make sure they do the throat first and then do the one up the butt. And I'm like, I love my mom's humor. And I'm like, I never would have thought of that. And so, of course, I know she's kidding, but right before they put me under, I said to the doctor, I go, dude, you're going to like wipe off the camera. And he goes, oh, we got more than one camera. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to know I'm going to be asleep.
Could you imagine if they were like, all right, we're going to use the same camera on this guy. We're going to stick it up his butt first and then down his throat later. And when he wakes up, he's going to go, what tastes like ass?
Yeah. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time we met?
Was it Cookeville, Tennessee?
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, I don't remember the meeting.
So our former boss, dude,
Bill Penn, Bill was so into his voice as an old radio guy and thought everything was your voice, right?
So, because I was in between gigs.
Yeah.
And I lied to him. I said, hey, I'm actually going to be in town and headed through Nashville. Can we set up a meeting? He's like, all right, cool. And I was desperate. I needed a gig. And so I came in, and that's when we met.
So were they looking for a sidekick producer for the show at that time?
I think they were looking for a overnights and producer. And I'm like, I can do that. I've been doing that shit for years. And that's when we first met. And then a couple weeks later, I think that's when Bill called me and said, well,
he said, Tommy, you want a job? Well, you pay $2.80 an hour.
It was less than $7 an hour.
God. Yeah, but you made what you I remember we used to come over to our house. You go, hey, yo. I go, Tommy, why do you eat so much? And you're like, because I never know when I'm going to eat again. I'm like, what? I was like, oh, my God, I felt so bad for you. So then my wife at the time and I would try to have you over as much as possible.
God bless you. God bless Thad. Because between the two of you, you guys always took care of me. Thad, like on Friday nights, we'd go over to Outback and, starting at, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they had 2-for-1s. And so
guys get hammered
on Friday. And yeah.
Well, then Bill, what's his last name? Bill used to take care of us too. No, Bill, the restaurant owner.
Oh, yeah. When we, for lunch, he always took care of it.
He'd go, hey, come on over for lunch. I'm like, all right. We'd go to his restaurant, eat for free and drink for free. And then we'd get golf from the radio station. So we eat, drink, and golf all for free.
Oh, we got, what was that crappy beer that we got the beer.
It was from the Budweiser guy. We'd say, hey, we need a case. We'd call him, he goes, all you got to do is mention Budweiser on the air. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And then the general manager got mad at me. He goes, you got to stop doing that. He's not even advertising. I go, oh, okay. Well, we had to golf, so we'd get free beer.
Kevin was his name, that slime ball.
Yeah, the general manager.
Because he was doing the same thing. He was putting out he was putting out free ads for his buddies.
He was doing something where he actually eventually, I think, got caught. And I think that's when he got fired or something.
Huh.
I don't know. But yeah, that was a great time. Oh my God, we had the office. It was sweet. We had a sweet setup, man. We had our couch. We could sleep in there during the day, close the door. Nobody could come in. We could totally goof off. You felt like the cool thing is we weren't making a ton of money. But the cool thing is you felt like a rock star. You're like, oh man, this is living the dream,
Well, the cool thing about our office was it was on the other side of the building.
Yeah,
And
nobody could
so,
ever find us when the door
exactly.
was closed because these
Yeah.
idiots didn't know where the office was. Where's John and Tommy? Where are they?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing, and I hope people understand that, especially the world of radio, you don't get paid anything, you
No,
know.
but a lot of people think that you make a ton. A lot of people think, oh, you're morning radio, make a ton of money. Now it's changed a lot, where even guys in large markets are just making okay money.
Yeah.
They're not killing it. And if they want to make extra money, what happens is they have to voice track another radio station in another city. So Chief General,
So
instead of giving them raises, goes, hey, Tommy, we can't give you a raise, but what we can do is you can voice track another radio
radio
station. We'll give
station.
you $5,000 a year. And
Yeah.
I don't know, that works for some people, but it's so involved now. You got to stay up with social media. You got to do your on-air thing. Then you got to voice track 4 other radio stations, and that's the ones that when you took the job they told you you're going to have to do. And then you're like, all right, I guess I can do that.
Do you miss it?
I missed the creative part, goofing off and getting paid for it. That's what I loved. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe somebody was paying me to actually goof off, be an idiot, write funny, stupid stuff, and somebody's gonna pay me for that. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the dream, and it's something that you love it so much that you will actually do it for free.
It's true. It is true. I mean, even when I first was interning in Chicago, I loved it. I mean, it's a different. I mean, now it's totally different. But I think when you and I were first getting into it, it was still a sexy job. It was still fun. It was still, you know, it didn't matter what market you're in. It was fun.
It was cool. It was cool because there was so many other things that were going on. It wasn't just a normal job where you go to work and then you get a paycheck and you're like, all right, I'm going to do this tomorrow. It was always different. You never really knew what was going to happen. And the funny thing, and I'm sure a lot of people uh, will notice this, is everything that radio people ever say about management is true. They're all idiots. They're all former sales guys that have no clue, that usually 9 times out of 10 have no experience ever being on the air, but they think they know it all. And they're going to
Exactly.
tell you what to do and what to say. Like, you can't say that. You're like, oh, God, really? You know?
But for me, after finally getting canned in Lincoln, Nebraska, that's when I really saw the writing on the wall. That's when Sirius and XM were starting to really start making a mark,
Yeah.
and that's when I'm like, you mom and pop radio stations are not going to survive. They're going to be dinosaurs. So it was time to unfortunately grow up and find a real freaking job.
Yeah, that sucks. I can
Yeah.
tell you from my experience, that's the worst. Then you're like, all right, what am I going to do? So what I ended up doing was, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to let be. So what happened to me is I was in Rochester and they said, we're going to have to let you go. And I'm like, what? And I had just gotten engaged. I had just bought a house.
Oh,
And I had to tell my new fiance that I just lost my job. And I'm like, how the hell? And I told it to her. She goes, you're kidding, right? I go, nope. So then I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? So then I was like, well, maybe what I'll do is I'll take a break from radio. So I went and sold Yellow Pages for a little while, and that sucked balls. And then after a while, the general manager at one of the radio stations goes, hey, guy's actually the marketing manager for Kiss FM in Los Angeles now, Kevin Legret. He goes, hey, how you liking that Yellow Pages thing? I'm going, it's all right. I'm like, it's okay. He goes, how about you come work for us over here at it was Warm 101.3 CMF in Rochester, the station with Brother Weeze,
oh yeah.
the Zone, They had Carlson and McKenzie at that time. They were great. And then
I gotta just Brother Weeze. I mean, I know a lot of you listening to this, watching this for the first time, but Brother Weeze, I remember going to which convention was it?
it was
In
the boot camp that we used to go to all the time, right?
And Brother Weeze was one of those cool ass guys who he didn't care what market you were from. He gave you the time of day. He was one of those guys that all tatted up, but he looked you in the eye and treated you like a peer, even though I'm coming from Cookeville, Tennessee, which nobody knew where on the map that was. But Brother Weeze, and I had when they redid Woodstock, was that back in the 90s, I think?
Yeah.
And Brother Weeze was one of the MCs, and I got the biggest kick out of that. Every time I saw him out there, and I'm like, I met that guy. So yeah, Brother Weeze was cool. Fix your phone, fool.
I just saw him about a month ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a bar, and I was like, and he was doing his broadcasting live. I don't even think he remembered me. So when I first came to Rochester, and I worked at 100.5, I think it was called Mix at that time. He and I did a show for Meatloaf, and there was like a pre-thing that we had to go to at this other bar. So we went to this other bar, and he goes, "Hey, brah." He goes, "What are you doing on radio? You're a good-looking guy." And I'm like, I go, "I don't know. I just kind of having fun like yourself." He goes, it's all right, bro. And everybody would say, "Oh, this guy's a dick. Brother Weeze is a dick." I go, "I just met him." I go, "The guy's like one of the nicest people I've ever met." I go, "He's not a dick." So I've always kind of stood up for him when people go, "Oh, he's an asshole. He's a dick." I'm like, the guy was one of the coolest people, and still to this day when I met him, I go, "I don't know if you remember this," because he's actually had he had cancer for a while, nasal cancer.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about that.
And I think he's like 74 or something now, and he's still doing a show. And the guy probably makes close to $300,000 a year.
Really?
He used to make over $400,000 until radio changed a couple of years, and then he went from station he was at, I can't remember the one, and now he's over at I think Cheap Channel. But he was a great guy. I mean, and he's like, "Rob, radio's changed so much, it sucks now." I go, "Yeah, but you're still making money." "Yeah, I know, whatever." He doesn't actually have to do anything. He just shows up. He's got so many people work for him. They take care of everything for him, which is great. And he still does a good show because he's so Rochester. It's funny.
But it's funny as I'm listening to you talk about him. My wife and I went this week and saw Jeff Dunham in concert. And Jeff Dunham, oh my God, he is so funny and a great storyteller. And the one thing that really resonated with me is here's a guy who's been playing with puppets, as he even talks about, for, I don't know, 30 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
And he's one of those few people, just like Brother Weeze, who have had one career. And they were able to really follow their why, their passion. And it's just it's fun to watch, and it's like, damn, I want that.
Yeah.
I mean that was, again, the fun thing about working in radio was all you had to do is really show up and have fun and let your listeners know you're having fun. And so, again, like with Brother Weeze and Jeff Dunham, and it's just like, I want that. I want that ability to just not have to have a fucking day job. I fucking hate it.
Well, the nice part is that when you're in radio, you're actually working 24/7 because you're constantly trying to come up with funny stuff. But it's not like work because you love it so much.
Right.
It is your why, and then you're like, oh man, this is so awesome. I love this. Is so cool. You know what I did today? I got drunk and I emceed the Chunky River raft race.
Well, it's fine because I remember I would, even on Saturdays, I'd still go in, because I had subscribed to, magazines and newspapers and other things. And, Saturdays for me were great because I, either walk or ride my bike from my apartment to the station and start prepping for the next week. And you're right. You would do a lot of that. I mean, you literally doing it for free. And it was just, again, it was such a different world back then.
Oh, totally. And now it's totally different. I mean, everybody's podcasting now too.
Well, there we are. We are. So, I had other questions for you. All right. So, I need your help on this one because you have more experience with this, and that is
jerking off.
Oh, well, I don't need your help with that.
Can't help you there. You're in another state.
So my son had prom last night, and it really, really hurt because I didn't get to see him. I didn't get to experience, the pictures and all that stuff. And so I know you've had to go through missing out events. How have you handled that?
I think it's called what my dad used to say, suck it up, buttercup. and it's tough because you're like, I think I only realize that now after being divorced for a long time and then seeing pictures of him when he was little or something on Facebook and go, oh my God, I miss so much that kid's life and I feel so bad. But the cool thing was his stepdad came up to me one time when I was visiting, and I get along great with him. And he goes, John, he goes, I hope you think I did a good job with the kids. I go, Chad, you've done an awesome job. I said, they're good. They came out great. I couldn't ask for anything more. And I thought it was really said a lot that he would even say that, because most guys be like, whatever, that jerk, there's the ex-husband. But he was always really good. So I was good friends with him even before my ex-wife married him. And I should say I kind of knew of him. But then every time that I've talked to him, he's a good guy. He's a little rednecky, but good guy. I'll tell you what, buddy. Hey, you think I did a good job? I go, yeah, you did a great job. He works in a bullet factory as like a manager or supervisor, but he makes decent money, takes good care of his family. So I was like, Chad, of course you did a great job. I couldn't ask for anything more.
I think that's hard, acknowledging the other parent, the bonus, but the step parent. It's hard.
I never had a problem with it, I guess. Maybe because I liked the guy. I actually liked him more than I liked my ex-wife. So I think, for me, I was like, I didn't really care. Plus, I was so far away, removed from it because I was in another state. I mean, they're in Nebraska. I'm in New York, so that's a long drive and it's far away. So I think for me, I just kind of, in a way, try not to think about it.
Well, but there are occasions where you have to because they're still your kids.
Right. But I never really knew when they were having their prom or whatever, so I never really. I was an updated, like my ex-wife would never tell me anything. I mean, because we didn't get along.
Right.
So I never really knew what was going on. So I'd call them and talk to them, every weekend. That was about it. And then see them maybe once a year. So it kind of.
But with your boy, John Mark, I mean, you guys always had a solid relationship.
Yeah, I think that's because when he was younger, I spent so much time with him and did a lot of stuff, and there was always that special connection. And I can't say I have that with my older daughter,
Right.
Callie. I don't have that special connection, and I know she gets jealous of it. But it's almost kind of like, hey, Dad, it doesn't matter that we don't talk all the time, but you know, he knows I'm his dad, and he knows that I really care about him. And then he'll call and go, "What's going on, pops?" He'll call me, or send me a text message here, because that's like the new thing. Nobody's calling anybody anymore.
Right. Well, it's I remember when I first became a dad, and I had to do a little retrospect of, okay, what guys do I know that had really good relationships with their kids, with their sons, and you definitely were one of the top that came to mind because, like you said, I remember I was as you're talking about you and John Mark. I remember for some reason I never locked my apartment, and you and John Mark came in, and I was so hungover. And all John Mark kept saying was, "Tommy, go fishing. Let's go fishing, Tommy." And I'm like, "No, Tommy's not going fishing."
Well, the funniest part is the way that he used to greet you, and I'm sure you'll never forget that. So John Mark was around 2. Tommy would bend down because John Mark could go running up to him and go, "Hey, come here, John Mark. Come here, John Mark. Let me give you a hug." So Tommy would bend down and go, "Hey, John Mark." So John Mark wore cowboy boots when he was 2. And every time that he would see Tommy, he would run up to him and kick him in the balls. I go, "Tommy, do you not realize it's like his handshake?"
Oh,
And
that
you
one
used to.
time he got me solid.
The funniest thing was that you never, it was almost like you didn't care that he was kicking you in the balls. You just wanted to give him a hug because he was such a cute kid.
He was, and I mean, he was raised well. I mean, all over. But yeah, I should have realized it. And surprising, I actually had a kid after all that.
It's what they call a miracle, I think.
Yeah, yeah. What else do you want to talk about? This being the premiere episode.
I don't know. And you never sent me any topics to talk about.
Well, what do you? So one of the things is, what are we going to call this?
I don't know. Did we come up with a couple of different names? What was
the one acronym you had?
Geez, I wrote it down. This is gonna screw up if I minimize this.
I don't know. Let's find out.
All right, there we go. All right.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Names for the show.
Because I posted it out on the social.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. I'll tell you what. SFG. SFG. Stupid freaking guys. Two stupid freaking guys. I think that's kind of like I like that one.
I like SFG.
Or you can do growing up penis. I think. Or turds don't float. Here's number 1 and 2. Those are just a couple, I think, so I kind of like those, but
I like SFG.
SFG, stupid freaking guys.
You stupid freaking guy. You're right.
Stupid freaking guys, eh? Well, because of Chicago and
Chicago boys
in Rochester, there's a lot of Italian kids. They had the mafia here.
No, don't say that. How's that?
There's your what?
Allegedly, there's mafia.
Oh yeah, allegedly there's mafia.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think there's not mafia?
Because then they'll come over. They'll get you.
Come to, hey, how you doing, huh, buddy?
Hey, you mentioned there's mafia? No, there's no mafia here.
No, I don't know. I think there is, but I think there's different mafia. There's like Italian, there's Puerto Rican, there's Mexican mafia, there's the Chinese mafia. No,
Mafioso?
yeah,
Mafioso?
yeah,
No.
yeah, mafioso.
Mafioso. So, what's life like now?
It's a little different. I
Is
mean,
is it getting better?
it's
Worse?
better. I think I actually have a better relationship with my girls. I'm getting to know them better than I ever did because I spend time with them. When I spend time with them, it's more. I think it's more quality time, and I actually enjoy um, doing stuff for them. Which before I think when you're married, you're like, oh God, we gotta go to this, we gotta do this. But I actually enjoy seeing them have a good time and doing things for them. Where before it was kind of like, you're a parent. It's like, oh man, I just want to lay around, or I want to work on my car. I want to, do stuff like that. But now I really enjoy my time with them. Like my one daughter, Anna, she's only 7. She, texted me. She was supposed to come over, so they spend 2 days a week with me. Was it Wednesday and Thursday nights? And then I drop them off Friday morning at school. So
Mhm.
she texts me. She goes, "Dad, can I stay at mom's?" I go, "No." I texted back, and then I told her when she got here. I said, "Well, I said, Anna, I don't get to spend enough time with you as it is, and then you're telling me no." That kind of hurts Daddy's feelings. Then I hear her upstairs and she's crying, and she's a little sensitive. The whole divorce thing. I think they don't say anything about it, but I think it's makes them a little extra sensitive. So she's up there, and I go, Anna, don't cry. I go, I just wanted to let you know that I really care about you and I love spending time with you. I said, don't feel bad. I go, I'm just telling you, I really love you and I love spending time with you. So stop crying.
But see, but see, I look at it from their point of view because, I mean, your parents weren't divorced. Your parents were married for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Because I remember after my divorce was that it would be Friday night. I'd pick Connor up and he would have a meltdown and he'd say, I want to go back home. And I'd be like, okay, because I get it. Been there, done that. And
So you
so
would take them back home?
I would take him back home.
Mm. Did
And
that you had that had to really hurt? I would have.
yeah. Oh God. Go back to the townhome and start crying, going, because then you start thinking, oh my, for me, I start thinking, oh, I'm a bad dad. He doesn't love me. He doesn't want to hang out with me. But it was like you were saying, it's the root of the evil of divorce is that, unfortunately, the kids get put in the middle, so they don't know, how to handle that. They don't know that they shouldn't take sides, and they never should take sides. But I got it because I was the same way. I mean, I will never forget my poor dad. I had a nuclear meltdown. He had picked me up at the train station downtown Chicago, and I said, "Hey, where are we going for dinner?" Because that was the thing I always loved is that we'd go somewhere for dinner. And he said, "Oh, we're going to visit a friend of mine." I'm like, "Okay." So it was his new girlfriend,
Oh,
and he said, "Oh, by the way, we're sleeping here tonight," and I just lost my shit. I mean,
well,
my head could have turned green
yeah.
bean soup and all that. And so kids just they don't know how to handle it. I mean, especially young kids, they just don't have the vocabulary. They don't have, the skills to really express themselves. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, I get it, but we never. I don't know if she's ever said anything to the kids about divorce. I mean, we just ended up like naturally living in two separate places,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of weird. But I've never addressed it with them. I've never said a thing about it. This is just the way it is, and mommy lives over here, daddy lives over here, and we do our own thing, and it seems to work out. I mean, they are actually kind of funny. They will go, "Hey, mom thinks we don't know that she smokes," and I go, really? She goes, "Yeah, she leaves these butts over here." She goes, "Of course it's her smoking." And then she goes, and then the one time we found cigarettes in her purse, and we go, "Hey, mom, if you don't smoke, how come there's cigarettes in your purse?" And they go, she says to him, "Well, that's because I took them away from so and so's daughter." And they said to me, they go, if she would have taken them away from somebody's daughter, wouldn't you throw them out? Why are you keeping them? So they'll find butts like in certain places around the house or whatever, and then they're like, in their car smells like smoke. Because right now in school, they're 12, so they're in sixth grade, so they're talking about smoking and cancer, how bad it is for you. And my one daughter, Alexis, who's super high level and smart, will like rattle off everything that smoking does, bad for you. She's like, "Oh, it causes cancer. It's really bad for your lungs. It messes up the cilia in your throat." I mean,
Holy cow!
yeah. So she's like all over it, and they just kind of laugh. They go, "She thinks we don't know." She goes, they go, "We know." So I think they're almost thinking that, they can't trust her because she's lying to them, about the smoking. And then I'm wondering if there's another part of them that go, "Well, what else is she lying to us about?" You know?
Well, that's one of those things you can't control. I mean, as much as, again, it goes back to, you can't put the kids in the middle. You can't give them the third degree. Well, what did mommy say? What's mommy
No,
doing? And so it's
no.
it's
So I never
hard.
say anything bad. I just kind of go, "Really?" I go, "That's interesting." I go, "Well," and then I kind of almost go, "Well, maybe," like to almost say I'm on her side, but I don't really like defend her. I go, "Well, maybe, she's having a rough time or something. Who knows? People smoke for different reasons. If she is smoking," I go, "But that's her choice. She's making bad choices." But so I don't ever say anything like, "Well, you should tell her."
Yeah. So
But
and I hate to, I mean, I hate to mention this because you're such. I was doing the math. I'm like, holy crap, we've known each other for over 20 years. And so, what life lessons have you learned going through divorce number two?
um, that life can change in an instant. It's kind of scary that it happened. I was married for uh 15 years. In year 16, she ended up cheating on me, and I have no idea why. Never admitted it. Always kept saying that I was accusing her. And then I read a little something on when somebody's saying that keep saying that you're accusing them instead of ever just admitting it or even denying it. That means you're guilty and you're trying to hide something. So I actually had proof. I saw, her come out of a guy's car that she just said, "Oh, we're just, he was giving me gift certificates." I'm like, yeah, I bet he was.
Is that what they call it?
I guess. So I'm like, oh my God. And then I subsequently, there was one time that she said she was teaching or whatever. She was actually at a bar for 5 hours. Well, I come to find out she wasn't actually at a bar. The more I get to think about, why would you be at a bar for 5 hours? I did a little research and I found out that in back of that bar, there was two hotels.
Oh,
So I'm like, oh my God. So being in sales and going on sales trips every once in a while and being the supposed private eye that I think I am, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call that hotel and pretend I knew the guy's name, pretend I'm so and so. So I call the hotel. I go, "Hey, this is John Doe. Did I stay there on January 18th? I just need to know because I need the receipt for my company that I can, provide to them for tax purposes or whatnot. And the girl goes, "Oh yes, yes, Mr. Doe, you were here on January 18th. You and a guest." I go, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that confirms it." My heart just dropped. Like I guess I didn't want to believe it, but then that was total confirmation that there was something going on. And then I actually came in and said, "I got a receipt that says you were actually," and she kept going, "Oh, great, you got a receipt. That means nothing." I'm like, "Oh, really?" I go, "Because in my book, it means everything." And she was like, "Yeah, great, you got a receipt. It means," I'm like, "Oh my God." So, yeah, she had an affair. The guy's married, he's got 2 kids. I'm like, "What are you thinking?" And then I lived up in the attic for a year before anything happened, hoping that she was going to pull her head out of her orifice and go, "You know what? I did it. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry." Never said I'm sorry, because one reason I knew she was guilty is because of the fact that she said the way that she reacted. She didn't say, the way you should react. Most people react like, if you're not doing it, is, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I would never do that to you. I love you too much to ever do anything like that. I was just meeting him to get some gift certificates for my brother's fundraiser." Brother, I had a bad heart. They were doing a fundraiser for him. He ended up dying, and I think it's that her brother was really sick, and this is when this guy reached out to her on Facebook, if you want to call it that, FB, and pretended like he was all nicey nice, and I was like, "Oh man!" And that's kind of how I think it got rolling. And then she's um, got menopause. I'm sure that's part of it. So I think she went batshit crazy.
So now do you have a lack of trust with females now?
uh, no, I don't have a lack of trust with females. Uh, I just haven't found any that I want to date, so I don't really, care. I don't really even want to get into a relationship at this point. It's still so new. I mean, it's only
Right.
been 2 or 3 months, but I'm like, I'm kind of okay. I'm like, you know what? I'll work on cars. That's what I like doing. I'll spend all my time on me doing stuff for me, where before in the past I would never go out. I would never spend any money on myself.
Hmm.
And now I know it sounds selfish, but I'm actually uh, doing something for me for
Well,
once.
I don't think it's selfish. I think it's uh, you're I commend you on that because you aren't doing stupid shit. You're not hitting the bars. You're not, drugs and all that stuff. And you're doing stuff again for you because that's what's going to help you get through, this so-called bump in the road. I mean, when we were first talking today, I mean, I know, you work out, do other things, but I think that's where a lot of men in our situation, as far as going through a divorce, they do the wrong things. They don't make those right choices. They think that, you know I'm divorced, so now I'll go find the next Mrs. Wrong, when they really need to be focused on themselves and focused on their kids. And so it's very commendable that, at least you're doing, again, making those right decisions.
I just haven't found the super hot next chick that I want to date. That's part of the deal.
Well, and you don't have to marry her.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm pretty good on my own, so I don't know if I really ever need to get married. It's kind of like when I was in radio. You travel around, you know that you go to a new city, then you have to make new friends, and then you leave that city after 2 years and you go on to another new city. So I've got friends all over the country. I just don't have a bunch of friends, in my one location. I don't have a lot of guy friends because I'm kind of almost in a way a loner. I have, a couple of friends, but they're all long distance like yourself. I got another friend from college. We talk every once in a while, but not, I don't know. I don't have like, I suppose if I would have stayed in Hinsdale, Illinois, then I'd have the same group of friends that I grew up with and I'd hang out with them and we do stuff all the time. But, I don't, as an adult, I think your life changes. You get married, then you try to do all new friends. But the problem was we never had a lot of friends as a couple because of the fact I was 10 years older than she was. And she never had a lot of friends, but she started getting a lot of friends. I think it was 2 years ago, because that was one of her focuses. She always felt bad that she didn't have a lot of friends. So her big drive and focus was to have a lot of friends. The problem was her friends are all divorced teachers. And if you ever listen to some of those motivational speakers, you become what you hang out with. If you're hanging out with losers, guess what? You become a loser. If you're hanging out with poor people on the street corner, guess what? You're going to be a poor person on a street corner. If you're hanging out with millionaires, you're probably going to become a millionaire.
I'm a screw up. I think Jim Rohn is the one who coined that phrase. You are the 1% of the people you hang out with. Something, and I know I'm going to screw that up. But a couple of things you were talking about, going from, back in our day, the radio world, going from city to city after a couple of years. I had, when we were in Cookeville, because that job, that world, you just never know, because you could get a new boss and he or she could have their morning show that they want to bring in, and you could be gone for no apparent reason. So I had boxes in my apartment that I never unpacked because I was paranoid that one day that our boss is going to come to us and say, "You're gone."
Yeah. So, in regards to having the boxes, I used to be able to fit everything in my car, my little Honda CRX. Before I got married, I could fit everything in there. And then I never really even cared about how much money I made until I got divorced. Then I'm like, oh my God, now I got to give half my money to somebody else, or more than half. So,
right.
I as far as money goes, I didn't really care because it was so much fun. But then it was like, oh my God, now I got to pay somebody else.
Yep.
So that was the tough part of that, I think.
Well, the other thing too is my wife and I went to a going away party last night for another couple, and as we're driving home, I started thinking about that, going, we don't have a lot of friends, or it's a very similar situation. Most of my guy friends are scattered. There's you, and I have my other dear friends back home in Chicago, and so is it a guy thing that we don't that we just don't want to have close personal relationships? I don't know what it is.
I think it's believe it or not, as stupid as this might sound, it's kind of almost like a gay thing. Like, you don't want to have guy friends because you're gonna think I'm gay. Like, dude, you want to hang out? Because then they're like, why does this guy want to hang out with me? It's kind of weird. It's a weird subject to approach. It's kind of like, you don't want to go up to a guy at the gym and go, hey, dude, you want to hang out? You want to go to the bar? And then they're like looking at you like, what the hell was wrong with this guy? So yeah, I think the older you get, the harder it becomes to make friends, because the older people are already set in their ways. Most people, at our age, already have their friends from when they grew up or from when they were doing things. You don't seem like you make a lot of friends as you start aging. I think maybe you have to join some other groups or whatever to kind of get in that. You can do that on like some certain social media. You just want friends. You're like, it's kind of gay. I don't want to, so I don't know if it's that or not.
For me, it's, being an only child, I'm used to being alone, and I've never had a problem. And I think it was somebody had wrote an article on LinkedIn about, going to restaurants alone, and it's seen as that you're typically a loser because you're at a restaurant eating alone. I'm like, for me, I travel 100% time, and the rare occasions where I do go to a restaurant, guess what? I'm eating alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable with that. I've always been comfortable with that. But I think for me, as I've gotten older, I know I've become more and more of an introvert. And again, I started thinking about this last night, going, I I I need some more friends, or don't, but I don't know.
I think part of the problem too is you're set in your ways. Like when I was married, both times, I was never a person that would go out a lot to the bars and had to go out. I was happy just sitting at home watching a movie,
Mhm.
doing whatever. I mean, I'm okay without going out drinking. I mean, I go out probably one night a week, like Friday nights, and go meet some friends for happy hour, and I'm home probably by 10 or 11. I'm not staying out like as a kid, anymore. But I just I don't have those kind of friends that would, I don't think anybody our age does now, that the party all night. And it's probably a one-time thing. You do it once and then you're like, oh my God, I'm never doing that again.
Well, I'll never forget how you really mentally screwed up my life, and that was your
I'm
first.
glad I'm glad it could help you out with that.
Well, yeah, your first wife uh, went out of town. She took John Mark. You and I went to the movies. Do you remember this?
No.
You and I went to the movies, and I cannot for the life of me remember. There was some comedy out, and I'm like, let's go see this. And you're like, no, let's go see Seven. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to go see that
Oh
movie.
my God, yeah.
And I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't like horror movies. I don't like those mind fuck movies. I'm like, no. You're like, come on, let's go. I'm like, all right. So for those of you listening, watching that know the movie Seven, it is a messed up movie. And
Oh,
it
it's scary. Oh
it
God. Yeah.
freaked me out. I could not sleep. And all I want to see the goddamn comedy. No, you want to go see Seven. So to this day, if that movie ever, if somebody talks about it, all I think about is that night with you. And also, I sit down next to you, and you're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Sitting down. Move over one.
Yeah, you got to have like guy space. You can't. It's kind of like peeing next to the guy at the urinal. You're like, come on, man. I don't want you peeking over at my wiener.
I mean, that whole night just cracked me up because I'm just like, you just messed me up for life because that stupid movie.
Yeah. Now, do you have different thoughts about eating spaghetti?
Oh, the
Remember the
spaghetti
fat guy
part.
with the spaghetti? Oh my God! I'm like, oh, it wasn't that gorge? What was
Yeah.
Oh,
The seven, the
it's not
seven movies.
gorging. It's geez, I can't think of what the sins are.
Yeah, and the guy, when the SWAT team comes in, the guy's like supposed to be dead, and he sits up, and right then and there, I'm like, I'm done. Can I go home? Can I go? Just let me go.
You know what movies just as bad as those Saw movies? Have you seen those?
No, I don't like those.
Oh my God, I can't watch them. They're just gross. I mean, they're chopping people's heads off, doing all kinds of torture stuff. I'm like, oh, gee, you talking about having nightmares? No way. I Saw 1 and Saw 2, and I'm sure there's more out there, but no thanks. But I'm glad I could
Ruined
have
my
a
life.
positive influence on your life.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Anytime I can help you out like that, let me. So I know something I want to talk about. Why, like, as far as dating goes. So remember back to your dating days. So why are guys sending women penis pics?
Dick pic.
Why would you do that? I mean, do you think that every woman that I've talked to is like mortified that guys are sending pictures of their wanker to them? They're like, what the hell is he think?
I've never understood that either. And to take a deep dive on that too, is that even so, if you sent one to some girl and she deletes it, it's still out there.
Yeah, well, she could. send it to all her friends. Go,
Exactly.
oh my God, look at Tommy sent me a picture of his wiener. Look at how small it is.
Well, and I'll take it one step further. As parents, if our kids get caught doing that, they can become our
Sex offender, right?
sex
Don't they get
offenders.
listed as a
Exactly.
sex offender? I mean,
So,
there's a lot of kids in high school doing it. I'm like, what are you thinking? Why would you even do that? And maybe it's because girls sometimes will send pictures of their parts, but I'm like, you know, I don't know.
not
Maybe
real.
maybe it's because we're older, and that we weren't aware of it. Well, they didn't really have the iPhones back then, and
Right.
we had the bag phones. I think probably
Oh,
when
yeah.
we were in a freshman year in college or something. But
Those big brick phones
yeah,
that cost $100 a minute.
yep.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And you know,
Maybe there's a certain portion of women that like that. Maybe it's worked for some guys in the past where they send a picture and they're like, "Whoa, yeah, girl, come on over, son." But
yeah.
I just don't see that. I go, they're either super slutty or I don't get it. I mean,
Well, think of the guy doing it. I mean, what kind of slime ball?
plus it's not healthy. I mean, think of the germs on your phone.
Oh gosh, is that Vaseline on your phone?
So do you zoom in to make it look bigger? What kind of angle do you gotta take it for to make it look like your chin's not sagging?
Do you run through Photoshop to
Oh,
make you look like Johnny Holmes?
well, while you're on the subject, another thing is to me is like the weirdest thing. Old naked guys in the locker room. So these old guys, for some reason, think it's okay to walk around the locker room naked with their big saggy balls and like cheese hanging down to their knees. I'm like, oh my God, that is so gross. I wanted to, dude, cover up. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see your saggy balls hitting the ground, walking around naked. Why don't you just put a towel on, cover that stuff up? That's just like gross. Old saggy ball man.
I remember when I worked at the country club back in the burbs of Chicago, and the first job I had there was working in the men's locker room. And you're right. I'm like, come on, Mr. Smith, come on.
Are you that proud of your right nut and left nut that they gotta be in everybody's face? I'm like, come on, what are you thinking?
When they come up to you to like place a drink order, and you're like,
they want to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm not talking. I am eyes up here.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
It's this nasty. But I think they must, maybe at that age, you're 70s and 80s, you just don't give a shit. Whatever, I'm gonna walk around, talk to people with my balls hanging down to the ground.
I caught myself I think it was this morning. I had to run out in the living room, and I had just had my boxers on. I'm like, oh crap, what am I doing? I don't want to. If one of my neighbors saw me, I wouldn't want to see me. I'm like,
yeah, no, I wouldn't want to see it either.
Yeah. So are we gonna go with SFG?
SFG, stupid fucking guys, stupid freaking guys. Yeah,
stupid freaking guys.
Two stupid freaking guys. I like it.
I like it too. We can get T-shirts made up.
There you go. We're gonna win a T-shirt if you actually watch this for more than 5 minutes. Ding.
John will send you the T-shirt and the $5 and $5.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
I think this went well.
Yeah, sounds right. I'll have to think of some more ideas. I think we could have some topics there, Tommy. Some topics. Yeah.
No, I just want to start off, especially this being the first. We're just simply talking about how we even met.
Yeah. Well, I think too you can use a lot of this stuff in your dad cast. Right?
Yeah, and that's why I want to start doing this and using on the Blending the Family podcast until we get the other stuff up and running because because like we've talked about, off air, is that we want to talk about dick jokes. We also want to talk about parenting and
Right.
divorce and all that stuff. So no, I think this is going to work out really well for
I think it's
you and your hair.
Yeah, that's right. I got good hair, good
Yeah.
shoes. Like, see, look at that. See,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, good flow.
Get flow. The flow master, the flow bee,
Yeah.
the flow bee.
All right.
Well,
Well, I'm gonna let you go because I got to mow the yard today before it snows tomorrow.
Oh my God, it snowed just a little earlier. It didn't stick, but I'm like, what the hell? Because I was detailing my car because I'm trying to sell my car because I want to get a truck.
You're selling the boat?
No, I'm gonna see if I can hang on to it. That's why I want to get a truck because I need a truck to tow the boat from
your Yugo won't be able to do that.
No, and my brother-in-law is now my ex-brother-in-law, so he's probably not going to want to do it either because it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. So it is a pain. I just help him out, and it's still a pain in the ass. So I don't know.
Right.
All right, brother. Appreciate it, man.
This is awesome.
I had fun. All right.
We're gonna keep. All right. So
stop sending me dick pics, and I'll talk to you later.
All right.
No, that sounds fine. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.